Captain Kim Jung-ho stood still as the small shuttle moved through space. Through the window, he could see the massive shape growing larger. It was hidden from most eyes, tucked away in Earth's secret orbital shipyard. The shipyard itself was a marvel of stealth technology. It didn't show up on any public scans. It was officially listed as Storage Area 17, a place to keep old satellites. The reality was much more interesting. 2 minutes to docking, Captain, said the pilot. Kim nodded, his face giving away nothing. At 42, he had the calm look of a man who had seen war up close. The small scar on his left cheek was from the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The slight limp when he walked was from the same fight. Humans had lost that battle, and many others. The ship they were approaching had no name yet. The workers just called it the Lawbreaker. Kim thought the name fit well. 5 years ago, the Hadron Collective had attacked human colonies without warning. They followed every rule in the Galactic Concordat's laws of war as they killed millions of humans. They sent proper warnings before bombing. They avoided civilian targets when possible. They treated prisoners well. And they nearly wiped out humanity. The shuttle docked with a soft thud. Kim grabbed his small bag and walked to the airlock. The doors slid open to reveal Commander Park Hyun-woo. The commander was tall and thin, with the look of someone who spent too much time in space. His uniform was perfectly clean. "Captain Kim," he said with a small bow. "Welcome to Project Renegade." Kim returned the bow. "Commander Park, I got your message." It was interesting. Park smiled without humor. "Follow me. You need to see this up close." They walked through the docking area and into a long hallway. Through windows on one side, Kim could see the massive ship being built. Workers in spacesuits moved around it like ants on a fallen piece of fruit. "It doesn't look like a warship," Kim said. "That's the first rule we're breaking," Park replied. "According to the Concordat, military vessels must be clearly marked as such. This ship can change its outer appearance. 1 minute it looks like a cargo ship, the next it's a science vessel." They entered a large room filled with screens and models. A woman stood in the center, pointing at something on a 3D display. She turned as they entered. "Captain Kim, meet Chief Engineer Lee Do-Yun," Park said. "She's the genius behind most of the ship's special features." Lee nodded at Kim. She had short black hair and tired eyes, the kind of eyes that had seen too many problems and found too many solutions. "Captain, I've read your file. Impressive combat record." "Not impressive enough," Kim said. "We still lost." "That's why we're here," Lee said, turning back to the display. "The aliens follow rules. We lost because we did too. This ship is our answer." The display showed the inner workings of the vessel. Kim moved closer, his eyes widening slightly as he understood what he was seeing. "The Concordat limits military ships to 8 weapons arrays," Lee explained. "So we built systems that change their function. When not firing, they look like science equipment or communication arrays." She touched the display, and it changed to show the ship's hull. The outer layer is made of programmable matter. It can change color, texture, even shape to some degree. It can hide weapons ports. It can display fake damage. It can show any identification markings we want, or none at all. "And this doesn't violate our treaty obligations?" Kim asked, though he already knew the answer. Commander Park stepped forward. "Technically, no. The ship will operate under special parameters. The Concordat was written by people who assumed everyone would act in good faith. We're following the exact wording while ignoring the spirit." Kim nodded slowly. After the Proxima Centauri disaster, he had lost faith in rules. The aliens had killed his entire squad while carefully following guidelines about acceptable combat practices. "There's more," Lee said. She changed the display again. This time it showed strange-looking missiles. These contain nanophages, microscopic machines that can break down organic matter but leave machinery intact. Banned under 7 different articles of the Concordat. "And these," She continued, showing another weapon, our quantum disruptors. They prevent faster-than-light travel. The technology was stolen from the Vex before they went extinct. No one knows how they work, only that they do. Using unknown tech is against Article 35. Kim walked around the display, taking it all in. Stealth technology that makes the ship invisible. Weapons that kill crews but leave ships intact. Systems that change function to get around weapons limits. He looked at Park. You've built a monster. We've built what we need to survive, Park said firmly. The Hadron follow every rule as they destroy us. They respect the Concordat more than they respect human life. We can't win by playing fair. Lee shut down the display. There's one more thing you should see. They took a lift to another level of the station. This room was smaller, with a single window looking out at the ship. From here, Kim could see the true scale of it. It was massive, but somehow sleek, beautiful in a dangerous way. What are those sections? He asked, pointing to strange bulges in the hull. Dimensional pockets, Lee said. Spaces that are bigger on the inside than they appear from outside. We can fit 3 times the normal crew or extra weapons or more fuel. That's impossible, Kim said. So is faster-than-light travel, according to old Earth science, Park replied. The Hadron have this technology. They use it for cargo. We're using it for war. Kim turned to face both of them. Why am I here? You already have a crew, don't you? Commander Park and Engineer Lee shared a look. Then Park spoke. We need a captain. Someone who understands what's at stake. Someone who has faced the Hadron and lived. Someone who won't hesitate when the time comes to use these special systems. The Hadron are moving again, Lee added. Our spies report they're building a fleet. Bigger than before. They're planning something major. Kim looked back at the ship. A warship that broke every rule. A ship designed to win at any cost. He thought of his dead comrades. He thought of the millions of humans already lost. When do we launch? He asked. In 3 weeks, Park said. You'll have time to pick your senior crew. The rest are already in training. Does it have a real name yet? Kim asked. We can't call it the Lawbreaker in official reports. Lee smiled slightly. The official designation is UES Prometheus, a long-range research vessel. At least, that's what all the paperwork says. Kim nodded. Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. It was fitting. I'll need full access to all systems, he said, and I want to meet the current crew. See who stays and who goes. Of course, Captain, Park said. From now on, the Prometheus is yours. As they walked back to review crew files, Kim felt a strange mix of emotions. Pride in being chosen, hope that they might finally defeat the Hadron, and deep inside, a small voice wondering if they were becoming the very monsters they were fighting. But then he remembered the burning colonies, the dead children, the Hadron ships following every rule as they destroyed human worlds. Rules wouldn't save humanity. The Prometheus would. 6 months had passed since Captain Kim first saw the Prometheus. Now he sat in the command chair on the bridge, watching his crew work with smooth efficiency. The ship had been fully operational for 3 months, running test missions in empty space far from regular shipping lanes. Today was different. Today they had a real mission. Status report, Kim said, his voice calm. Lieutenant Song Min-jae looked up from her weapons console. She was young but extremely skilled, and her eyes had a sharp look that missed nothing. All weapons systems are green, Captain. The stealth modules are functioning at 98% efficiency. Communication systems are ready, added Lieutenant Kang Jae-oh. He was older than Song, with a thin face and quick hands. Our false transponder is active. According to any scans, we are the merchant vessel Star Trader from the Ta City colonies. Kim nodded and turned to his tactical officer. Lieutenant Choi, what do our sensors show? Choi Tahi was a quiet man with a genius for strategy. Sensors are detecting 3 Hadron warships at the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system, Captain. Standard patrol formation. They don't appear to be on alert. Good, Kim said. Plot a course that will take us past them at standard commercial speed. Let's see if our disguise works. The Prometheus moved forward, its outer hull now showing the colors and markings of a simple human trading ship. Its weapons were hidden behind false panels. Its energy signature had been altered to appear non-military. Kim watched the main screen as they approached the Hadron Patrol. The alien ships were sleek and beautiful in a strange way. They looked like giant dragonflies made of metal, with long, thin bodies and wing-like structures that glowed with energy. "They're scanning us," Kang reported. "Standard commercial scan. And now a deeper scan. They're being thorough." The bridge grew quiet. This was the first real test of their disguise systems. "They're hailing us," Kang said suddenly. Kim straightened in his chair. "Put it through. Audio only." A harsh, clicking voice came through the speakers. It had been translated by the ship's computer. "Human vessel Star Trader, this is Patrol Commander Skthal of the Hadron Collective. State your business in this system." Kim nodded to Kang, who opened their channel. "This is Captain Han of the Star Trader. We are on a standard trade run to the mining colony on Epsilon Eridani IV. We carry machinery parts and medical supplies." There was a pause, followed by more clicks. "Your registry checks out, Captain Han. Proceed on your current course. Be advised that military exercises are being conducted in Sector 7. Avoid that area." "Understood, Patrol Commander. We'll stay clear of Sector 7. Han out." The channel closed, and Kim allowed himself a small smile. They believed it. The Concordat prohibits disguising military vessels as civilian craft, Kang remarked quietly. "It also prohibits firing on civilian vessels," Kim replied. "They can't shoot what they don't recognize as military." The Prometheus continued past the patrol. Once they were clear, Kim ordered the ship back to its true form. The false panels retracted, revealing weapon ports. The engines increased power, and they accelerated toward their real destination. "Lieutenant Choi, take us to the coordinates from intelligence. Full stealth mode." The Prometheus seemed to fade from view as its advanced stealth systems activated. These systems didn't just hide the ship visually. They masked its energy signature, its mass reading, even the small distortions it created in space. According to the Concordat, such complete stealth technology was forbidden in warfare. "ETA to target coordinates. 40 minutes, Choi reported. Kim turned to his communications officer. "Lieutenant Kang, send an encrypted update to Earth Command. Tell them we've passed the first test. The disguise works." As Kang sent the message, Chief Engineer Lee entered the bridge. Unlike most of the crew who wore standard blue uniforms, Lee wore the gray outfit of the engineering team. She looked tired but satisfied. "Captain, I've completed the final calibrations on the quantum camouflage system," she said. "We're now operating at full capacity." "Well done," Kim replied. "How are the new crew members adapting to the special systems?" Lee sat in the empty chair next to him. "Better than expected. They're good people, but I can tell some of them are uncomfortable with what we're doing." Kim understood. Every person on this ship had been carefully chosen and had passed multiple loyalty tests. But knowing about the Prometheus's capabilities in theory was different from seeing them in action. "They'll get used to it," he said quietly. "They've all lost someone to the Hadron. They understand what's at stake." The ship moved silently through space, completely undetectable. Even the Hadron, with their advanced technology, would have no idea they were being watched. "Approaching coordinates," Choi announced. "Sensors are detecting a large concentration of Hadron vessels." "On screen," Kim ordered. The main view screen changed to show a gas giant planet with several moons. Around one of the larger moons, at least 20 Hadron ships were gathered. They ranged from small patrol craft to massive carriers. That's an invasion fleet," Song said, her voice tight. Kim studied the screen with narrowed eyes. Magnify Sector 3. The image zoomed in to show smaller ships moving between the larger vessels. They were loading something. Those are troop transports, Choi confirmed. They're preparing for a major operation. Can we get closer without being detected? Kim asked. Lee nodded. The quantum camouflage should hold. We can move to within 10,000 kilometers safely. Do it, Kim ordered. I want detailed scans of every ship in that fleet. The Prometheus drifted closer to the Hadron fleet, like a ghost moving among the living. The crew worked in tense silence, gathering data on the enemy preparations. Captain, Choi said after several minutes, based on the number of troops and supplies they're loading, I believe they're planning to hit multiple targets. This isn't just a raid. It's a full invasion force. Kim's face hardened. This was what Earth Command had feared. The Hadron were preparing another major offensive, just like the one that had nearly destroyed humanity 5 years ago. Lieutenant Song, prepare a full analysis of their weapons and defenses. I want to know every strength and weakness. Yes, Captain, Song replied, already working at her console. Lieutenant Kang, prepare another encrypted message to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Include all our sensor data. As his crew carry out his orders, Kim stared at the enemy fleet. The Hadron were following their usual pattern, building up forces carefully, preparing methodically, following all the proper procedures for war. They're doing it again, he said quietly, following all the rules while planning to destroy us. Commander Park, who had been silently observing from the back of the bridge, stepped forward. That's why we built the Prometheus, Captain. They expect us to play by the rules too. Kim nodded slowly. And we won't. He turned to face his senior officers. We've confirmed that the Hadron are preparing a major attack on human space. Our mission is clear. We are to gather all possible intelligence on their fleet and then return to Earth to prepare our defenses. The officers nodded, but Kim wasn't finished. However, I believe we have an opportunity here. The Hadron don't know we're watching them. They don't know we're even here. He looked at each officer in turn. Lieutenant Song, how quickly could we deploy our special weapons? Song straightened in her chair. The nanophage missiles could be ready in 20 minutes. The quantum disruptors would take longer, maybe an hour. Kim nodded. Begin preparations. Don't launch anything yet, but I want options ready. Captain, Kang said hesitantly, our orders are to observe and report, not to engage. I'm aware of our orders, Lieutenant, Kim replied. But I also know that by the time we report back and Earth deploys a response fleet, these ships will be attacking our colonies. He gestured to the screen. We're the only ones who can stop them before they start. The bridge fell silent as everyone realized what the captain was suggesting. They had the most powerful weapon humanity had ever built. They were invisible to the enemy. They could strike without warning. Prepare all systems, Kim ordered. We'll continue observing for now. But be ready. If I give the order, we'll show the Hadron what happens when humans decide to break the rules. Captain Kim stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching the Hadron fleet on the main screen. His crew waited in tense silence. Everyone knew what was at stake. All special weapons are ready, Captain, reported Lieutenant Song. Her fingers hovered over her console, ready to unleash destruction at his command. Kim took a deep breath. What he was about to do would change everything. Earth Command had not authorized an attack. The mission was only to observe and report. But Kim had seen the invasion preparations with his own eyes. By the time Earth sent a response force, it would be too late. Commander Park, your thoughts? Kim asked, turning to his second-in-command. Park's face was serious. The Hadron wiped out my entire family on New Sol Colony. They sent proper warnings first, as the rules require. They gave civilians exactly 1 hour to evacuate, as the rules allow. And then they killed everyone who couldn't leave in time. He looked directly at Kim. I say we stop them here. Kim nodded and looked at his other officers. Anyone who objects to this action may leave the bridge now. I take full responsibility. No one moved. Very well, Kim said quietly. Lieutenant Song, prepare attack sequence Alpha. Begin with the microscopic drones. Song entered commands into her console. Drones launching in 3, 2, 1. Launch. From hidden ports on the Prometheus, thousands of tiny machines shot out into space. Each was smaller than a grain of sand. Together, they formed a cloud that spread toward the Hadron fleet. These drones were explicitly forbidden under Article 23 of the Concordat. They could infiltrate ship systems and cause massive damage while being nearly impossible to detect or defend against. Drones will reach target in 5 minutes, Song reported. Lieutenant Kang, prepare to jam all Hadron communications when the attack begins, Kim ordered. Ready, sir, Kang replied. Their communications will be blocked at your command. Lieutenant Choi, plot an attack course that gives us maximum tactical advantage. Choi worked quickly at his station. Course plotted, Captain. We'll approach from behind the moon. The gas giant's radiation will help mask our approach even if our stealth systems are detected. The minutes passed slowly. On the screen, the Hadron ships continued their preparations, unaware of what was coming. Drones have reached the fleet, Song announced. Beginning infiltration. The microscopic machines attached themselves to the hulls of the Hadron ships. They crawled inside through tiny openings and began accessing the ship's computer systems. Initiate drone program Chaos, Kim ordered. Song pressed a series of buttons. Program initiated. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, suddenly, 2 Hadron ships fired on each other. It's working, Choi said, unable to keep the surprise from his voice. The drones are corrupting their targeting systems. On the screen, confusion spread through the Hadron fleet. Ships were moving erratically, some firing weapons at random. Emergency signals flashed between vessels. Jam their communications, Kim ordered. Kang activated the Prometheus's illegal jamming system. Communications blocked. They can't coordinate a response. Move us into attack position, Kim said. Prepare main weapons. The Prometheus glided silently toward the confused fleet, its stealth systems still making it invisible to the Hadron. We're in position, Choi reported. Optimal firing solution acquired. Kim took another deep breath. The next weapon they would use was even more forbidden than the drones. Lieutenant Song, deploy the atmosphere ignition device. Song hesitated for just a second, then entered the command. Deploying AID. A single missile shot from the Prometheus. It flew toward the moon where several Hadron ships were stationed. When it hit the moon's thin atmosphere, it created a massive pulse of energy. The atmosphere itself began to burn. Fire spread across the moon's surface in a wave, engulfing 3 Hadron ships that had been hovering too close. Direct hit, Song reported. 3 enemy ships disabled. On the screen, the rest of the Hadron fleet was trying to reorganize, but without communications and with their systems malfunctioning. They were in chaos. They're trying to identify us, Kang said. They're broadcasting general queries asking who's attacking them. No response, Kim ordered. Prepare the nanophage warheads. The bridge went quiet again. The nanophage was perhaps the most feared weapon in the Prometheus's arsenal. It was designed to kill living beings while leaving ships intact. Target their command vessels, Kim said. We want to capture those intact. Targeting the 5 largest ships, Song confirmed. Nanophage missiles ready. Fire, Kim said. 5 missiles launched from the Prometheus, each heading for a different Hadron command ship. The missiles easily avoided the confused defensive fire from the fleet. They struck their targets and released clouds of microscopic machines. The nanophages entered the ships through air systems and began their work. They were programmed to target only Hadron biology, breaking down organic matter at the molecular level. Nanophage deployment successful, Song reported, her voice tight. She knew what was happening inside those ships. On the main screen, the 5 command vessels went dark as their crews died. The ships themselves remained perfectly intact. Lieutenant Kang looked up from his console, his face pale. "Captain, I'm intercepting a message from one of the Hadron ships. They managed to get a short transmission out before our jamming caught it." "What does it say?" Kim asked. "They're calling us monsters," Kang said quietly. "They're saying we're violating every law of war." Kim's face showed no emotion. "Better to be monsters who survive than heroes who die. Lieutenant Song, prepare the quantum disruptors." Song nodded. Quantum disruptors charged and ready. The quantum disruptors were the final weapon in their attack plan. Stolen from a species that had mysteriously gone extinct, they could prevent faster-than-light travel. No ship hit by a disruptor could escape. "Target every ship with a working engine," Kim ordered. "Don't let any of them escape to warn their homeworld." "Targeting all operational vessels," Song confirmed. Firing disruptors. Pulses of strange, darkish blue energy shot from the Prometheus. Each one hit a Hadron ship, surrounding it with a field that warped spacetime in subtle ways. The ships could still move at normal speeds, but their FTL drives were now useless. "All targets hit," Song reported. "No Hadron vessel can leave the system." Kim stood up from his command chair. "Bring us out of stealth mode. Let them see us now." The Prometheus shimmered into visibility, its true form revealed to the enemy for the first time. It was a terrifying sight. A warship unlike any other, bristling with weapons that should not exist. "Open a channel to all Hadron ships," Kim ordered. Kang pressed some buttons. "Channel open, sir," Kim spoke clearly. "This is Captain Kim Jun-ho of the Earth ship Prometheus. Your invasion fleet has been neutralized. Your command ships have been captured. Any vessel that continues to resist will be destroyed." The response was immediate. A barrage of weapons fire from the remaining Hadron ships. But the Prometheus's shields, also designed in violation of treaty restrictions, easily absorbed the attack. "They're not surrendering," Park observed. "I didn't expect them to," Kim replied. "Target their weapon systems only. Disable them without destroying the ships." For the next hour, the Prometheus methodically disabled the remaining Hadron vessels. Its precision weapons, its superior stealth, and its illegal technology made it unstoppable. By the end, the entire Hadron invasion force had been neutralized with minimal damage to their ships. "All enemy vessels disabled or captured, Captain," Choi reported finally. "No Hadron ships remain operational." Kim nodded and sat back in his chair. "Lieutenant Kang, send an encrypted message to Earth Command. Tell them, Operation Lawbreaker Phase 1 complete. Hadron invasion force neutralized. Request boarding teams for captured vessels." As Kang sent the message, Engineer Lee entered the bridge. She had been monitoring the ship's special systems during the battle. "All systems performed above expectations, Captain," she reported. "The quantum camouflage, the nanophages, everything worked perfectly." "Thank you, Chief Engineer," Kim said. He looked around at his crew. Some looked proud. Others looked troubled by what they had done. "What we did today violated every rule of war that the galactic community holds sacred, but we may have saved billions of human lives." He stood up again and faced them all. "The Hadron called us monsters. Perhaps they're right. But sometimes survival requires monsters." The Prometheus floated amid the disabled Hadron fleet, a dark shadow against the stars. The ship that broke every law of war had won its first battle. But the war was far from over. 3 weeks after the battle, Captain Kim stood in a large meeting room on Earth. 15 high-ranking military officers sat behind a curved table, looking down at him. Their faces were serious. Some looked proud. Others looked worried. Admiral Yoon Sang-yun, head of the United Earth Defense Force, spoke first. "Captain Kim, your actions at Epsilon Eridani were unauthorized. You were ordered to observe and report, not to engage the enemy." Kim stood straight, his hands behind his back. "Yes, Admiral. I take full responsibility." However, Admiral Yoon continued, "Your attack prevented a massive invasion of human space. The intelligence gathered from the captured ships confirms that the Hadron were planning to hit 12 human colonies simultaneously. General Ba Jiwu leaned forward. She was a tough woman with short gray hair and a face marked by old battle scars. The Hadron Collective has sued for peace. Their leadership has agreed to all our terms, including a full military withdrawal from human space, and acknowledgement of our right to self-defense by any means necessary, added Admiral Yoon. Kim said nothing. He had expected to be punished, possibly even court-martialed. Instead, they were treating him like a hero. "There's more," said General Ba. "The alien representatives have requested to meet you personally. They're calling you the commander of the ghost ship of broken laws." Kim raised an eyebrow. "They want to meet me. Why?" "We don't know," Admiral Yoon answered. "But we've agreed to the meeting. It will take place this afternoon at the Diplomatic Center." Later that day, Kim sat in a large plane room. The table between him and the door was the only furniture. This room had been designed for meetings with alien species who might have different comfort needs than humans. The door opened, and a tall insect-like being entered. It walked on 4 legs, while 2 arm-like limbs folded in front of its body. Its head had large compound eyes and moving mouthparts that clicked as it breathed. This was a Hadron, the first Kim had ever seen in person. A small device on the table translated their words. "I am Supreme Commander of Klorth of the Hadron Collective," the alien said. Its clicks and whistles turned into flat mechanical English. "Captain Kim Jun-ho, United Earth Defense Force," Kim replied with a small bow. The alien's body shifted in what might have been their version of a bow. "You commanded the vessel that attacked our fleet." "I did," Kim acknowledged. "You used weapons forbidden by the Concordat. Microscopic drones, atmosphere ignition, nanophages, quantum disruptors." The alien's mouthparts clicked rapidly. "You disguised your ship. You attacked without warning. You jammed our communications." Kim nodded once. "We did all of that. You violated every sacred principle of warfare," Klorth continued. Kim waited for accusations for anger. Instead, the alien said something surprising. "And yet, your actions resulted in fewer casualties than a conventional war would have caused. Our invasion would have cost billions of lives on both sides." Kim leaned forward. "The Concordat's laws assume all parties want peace. We discovered your species only respects strength." The Hadron's compound eyes seemed to study him. "We believe humans were weak because you followed rules created by the ancient races. Now we understand. You are dangerous precisely because you know when to break them." The alien's head tilted slightly. "The Hadron respects strength and cunning. Your ship showed both. We did not believe humans capable of such adaptability." "Humans adapt to survive," Kim said simply. "Yes," Klorth agreed. "We have studied your history. You evolved as prey animals, always running from predators. Then you became predators yourselves. You understand both sides of the hunt." The alien placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram of the Prometheus. "This ship is unlike any we have encountered. Our scientists are still trying to understand how it defeated our fleet so completely." "They won't find answers," Kim said. "The Prometheus is being decommissioned, all records classified. It was a one-time solution to an immediate problem." Klorth made a sound that the translator didn't catch. It might have been laughter or disbelief. "You humans are interesting liars," the alien said finally. "We will respect the peace treaty. The Hadron Collective will withdraw from human space as agreed. But know this, Captain Kim Jun-ho. We will be watching for more ships like yours." After the meeting, Kim walked through the Diplomatic Center's garden. He found Engineer Lee waiting for him on a bench beneath a cherry tree. "How did it go?" she asked. "Surprisingly well," Kim replied, sitting beside her. "I think they respect us now. Or at least, they fear us enough to respect the treaty." Lee nodded. "The Council has officially ordered the Prometheus decommissioned. All records classified. They're calling it a necessary evil that should never be repeated. Kim gave her a knowing look. And what about the 12 other ships being built to the same specifications? Lee smiled slightly. Construction continues, but with modifications based on what we learned. The new ships will be even more effective. Humanity will maintain the peace through conventional means, Kim said, repeating the official line. But keep the monsters ready, just in case. Lee finished. They sat in silence for a while, watching the cherry blossoms fall. Kim thought about the crew of the Prometheus. They had been reassigned to different posts. Some would serve on the new ships being built in secret. Others had requested transfers to regular fleet duties, uncomfortable with what they had done. Do you think we did the right thing? Lee asked suddenly. Kim considered the question carefully. I think we did the necessary thing. The Hadron were going to destroy us while following all the proper rules. We couldn't win by playing fair. But we broke every law of war, Lee said quietly. We used weapons that were banned for good reasons. And saved billions of lives, Kim reminded her. Sometimes the rules must be broken to protect what matters most. A month later, Kim stood on the observation deck of the lunar base. Through the large window, he could see Earth, blue and peaceful. Behind him, Admiral Yoon joined him at the window. Enjoying the view, Captain, or should I say, Commodore Kim. Kim turned, surprised. Commodore. Admiral Yoon smiled. Your promotion was approved this morning. You'll be commanding a new task force. Officially, it's a rapid response group for colony protection. And unofficially? Kim asked. Unofficially, you'll be overseeing the deployment of our new, special ships. The Admiral handed him a datapad. The first 3 will be ready next month. The Concordat inspectors have already certified them as compliant with all regulations. Kim looked at the data. The ships appeared completely normal on the outside. Standard weapons arrays. Proper identification markings. Nothing to suggest they were anything but regular military vessels. But Kim knew better. Inside, they would be just like the Prometheus. Perhaps even more advanced. The Hadron will keep the peace, Admiral Yoon said. But other species are watching us now. They saw what one ship did to an entire Hadron fleet. They're wondering if we have more. And do we? Kim asked, already knowing the answer. That information is classified, Commodore. The Admiral smiled slightly. But let's just say humanity has learned an important lesson. Following the rules is important, until it isn't. As the Admiral left, Kim looked back at Earth. The Prometheus, officially decommissioned but secretly kept operational, was now hidden in a base beyond Pluto's orbit. The new ships would soon join the regular fleet, hiding in plain sight. The galaxy thought the Prometheus was a one-time weapon, never to be used again. They were wrong. It was just the beginning. Kim thought about what the Hadron commander had said. Humans were dangerous because they knew when to break the rules. It was true. And now the galaxy knew it too. The legend of the ghost ship had spread among the stars. Humans publicly supported the Concordat, while secretly preparing for a future where rules might need to be broken again. For now, there was peace, and behind that peace stood humanity's dark guardians, warships that broke every law of war, waiting in the shadows.